One Piece World Seeker breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because it had the chance to be the one of the greatest anime licensed video games of all time. And it misses the boat by some simple missteps. Now, if you haven't played the game, it's essentially an open world game similar to Batman or Spider-Man, but starring Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates. Now, if I was to tell you that the game had combat similar to Batman and Spider-Man and a traversal system similar to Spider-Man, you would think, okay, that's a layup. That's great. That's perfect. And that's where World Seeker misses the boat at. Because the combat in the game is clunky. It's so, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it's also not good. And it points to a problem, I guess, with maybe trying to recreate the wheel, Like, I know it would have gotten some flack for just having a copy of the Arkham system, but the thing about it is that system works, especially in this type of game. When you have a game like World Seeker, somebody like me is going to check it out because I'm a fan of the One Piece license. I think it's the best manga of all time, or anime, manga slash anime of all time. And on those aspects, the game excels. Like things like the story, to even the looks, like the soul of it is One Piece. It's just like a lost um, arc of the anime or something, or a filler arc, a good filler arc, story wise. But with the combat, with the stealth sections, all of these things that you could have took from Batman, you could have took from Spider-Man, you could have took from that Lord of the Rings game that copies heavily from Batman and Spider-Man. Shadow of Mordor, yeah, that's what it was. What sucks about World Seeker is that it takes its own spin on these things and it borrows some, but it doesn't borrow enough, and the things it ends up doing is clunky. Like Luffy could travel around hiding in a barrel. And like I say, stuff with Luffy wouldn't make much sense anyway, character wise, but the general flow of gameplay is clunky in terms of executing. And so you get all these cool boss fights in the game and battles in the game in general. And yeah, I think you could still have fun with the game, but it's nowhere near where you could have had so much more fun if it would have just been a complete copy of the Arkham style of combat. I mean, Sleeping Dogs did it, the Mordor games did it, Spider-Man did it. They got a lot of games that copy this style, this free flowing, just go from one to another. And that style matches Luffy's style so perfectly because he just kind of throws himself into people, especially when he's fighting groups of people. And the game has you going against groups of people, so it would have been perfect in that sense. Um, and that's always been a challenge with, anime licensed video games, is trying to capture the feel of the characters and their powers and whatnot and translating it to a game. And World Seeker, almost, even though I'm kind of talking down on the combat aspects and the stealth aspects, it captures the soul of One Piece in video game form perhaps better than any other game before it, because half of One Piece is adventure and it's parts fighting, it's parts comedy. Whereas, a lot of the other games were more pure fighter games or, arena fighting type games. This one has the adventure aspect, the story and the motivations for what you want to do. Um, I just thought it was a good time to go ahead and talk about it. If I had to give the game a score, or not necessarily a score, if I had to recommend should you buy it, I couldn't recommend that you buy it at $60 or $40. This is more of a like a $20, maybe $30 if you're a huge fan of One Piece. But like $20 and under, I think I could recommend it at. And it's only because it's just the combat gets a little tedious because there's not much to it. Like, yeah, they could damage you, but it's not that fun to go through it, at least until you unlock some of the abilities and then kind of force yourself to go ahead and use them to spice up the gameplay. Because you could really just press XXX and get through a lot of the fights, but just to spice things up, there are unlockable skills. And like I say, story wise, it's really good. Like any good One Piece story, the slow build, the emotional bits. The game looks really great. You could tell a lot of work went into it, but it would have been, just a no-brainer if it would have just copied, the combat from really just a more well polished game. Like it has it has like a deliberate pace to the combat, like not quite Dark Souls like, but that's almost how Luffy moves kind of. It's like he's not as nimble as you would think he should be. Like when you start to play, you're gonna think, okay, well this combat should be like a Arkham game or whatever, and it just doesn't flow like that. It almost has like a beat 'em up style of combat within an open world 3D space, and that it doesn't work as well as it should. But I do think if you have like if you could catch it on sale for like $20 or $30, that you should check it out. So I just wanted to run that by you guys. If you just happen to see One Piece World Secret, it's been out for a while, so you should be able to find it on sale by now. If you do, check it out. It's not a perfect game, but if you're there for the story, you won't be disappointed. They do a lot of cool things. It takes place pretty much after the whole cake arc, you know, within that's just how the world is framed. Like post that. I thought that was pretty cool if you keep up with the anime and whatnot. But it's worth checking out. Just could have been a whole lot better. Could have been one of the great anime licensed games. But instead it's just in that average range because gameplay is important and it just kind of misses the boat on those important aspects. So until next time, I'll catch you later. Peace.